Today we're going to be working on part 2 of photo booth faces. Go ahead and locate your file folder on your desktop. Inside of the folder you're working on yesterday, you should find the file with a PSD ending, which means Photoshop document. You can double click that and it should automatically open up inside of Photoshop. Again, I like to work with a little bit of gray space, so I'm going to take the bottom right corner of the image document window and I'm going to extend it so I have gray space around my image. What I want to do today is I want to add a filter to bring all of these faces together into one. In order to do that, I need to take all of these layers and I need to flatten them into one individual layer. Because if I try to add a filter right now, it will add a filter only to the layer that I'm currently on. So if I go down to the layers panel and right click, I see at the bottom I can flatten the image. Click on that and you'll notice it turns all 4 layers into one flat image. You don't want to ever flatten an image until you're ready to move on. Go ahead and right click inside the layers panel and we're going to make a duplicate of this layer. And the reason that we make a duplicate is because I want to make sure that I have an original image behind an image that I'm going to add a filter to in case there's something that I don't like or if I want to go back to the original image. From here, I'm going to go up to the File menu and I'm going to find the word Filter. Click on it and I can find Filter Gallery located under the word Filter. And once that opens up, this is my filter gallery. And then inside of each one of these folders, I can click on the drop-down arrow and I can see all the different filters I can choose from. There's lots of different choices. You need to go through and choose whichever filter you find to be the best for your face. You need to remember that in the end, you still need to tell what the face is. So choose a filter that's going to really emphasize and bring out the features that you brought together. Once you choose a filter that you like, in this case I'm going to use glowing edges, now it's time to look on the right hand side and alter some of the options inside of the filter gallery. I could change the edge width, obviously that's the wrong direction to go, makes it harder to see. I can change the edge brightness. And again, I need to choose something that's going to emphasize the face, so right about there. And then the smoothness of the glowing edges. So right about there, I'm happy with the image. I can tell that it's still a face, and yet it's going to bring all of those different layers together. And it's okay if the layers don't fit perfectly, because that's not the purpose. The purpose is to make a beautiful collage of photo booth faces. Once I'm happy, I'm going to go up and hit OK to tell the computer that I'm okay with the filter and the options that I've chosen for that filter. Now you'll notice in the layers panel that the background copy is the one that actually got the filter on it. So if I click off the visible eye, I still have the original background underneath in case I want to go back and add a different filter later on. This image is dead center, which makes it not as visually interesting as it possibly could be. So I'm going to go over to the toolbar and I'm going to use the crop tool. And I'm going to, again, by clicking the gray space, I'm going to drag all the way across the entire screen and it's going to bring up the crop tool. If you've never seen this before, this is a grid line. These grid lines are called the rule of thirds. You've got the bottom third, top third, left third, and right third. And what's interesting about these grid lines is if you place the object of interest on one of these intersecting points, it makes the image visually stronger. So now what I need to do is decide what part of the background is actually visually interesting. Is the left side or the right side? Because obviously I'm going to put the rule of thirds directly on my face. So I'm going to take one of the cropping edges and I'm going to move it until my face is directly on there. And I can take a look and see that the left side is very active. If I move it to the right side, it's not quite as active and it's a little more boring. So I'm going to keep it on the left hand side. Just like that. You can see that my face is on the rule of thirds. Once I have it where I want it, I'm going to hit return to crop it. Now I'm finished. My photo booth faces is complete. The only step I have left is I need to save this as a Photoshop document and I need to save it as a JPEG so I can upload it to Moodle. I'm going to go up to File and just hit Save. That automatically saves the Photoshop document. Now I need to save it as a JPEG because that's the only way that all of your in-class projects should be saved and uploaded to Moodle. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and it's inside of my funny face folder already, and you'll notice it is a PSD file ending. I need to change that to JPEG. I cannot change this PSD file format just to JPEG for a JPEG. That is impossible for the computer to transform it right there because this is a multiple layer document. If I change the file ending, it will just make the file corrupt because it's unreadable. To make it a JPEG, I need to go down to Format and let the computer do the alterations for me. So I click on the drop-down bar and I find JPEG. Now there's lots of different options, but this is the one that your teacher wants you to upload your image as. Save as a JPEG, and I want you to notice in the Layers panel when I hit Save, it's going to compress these two images as one because all JPEGs are flat image documents. You can see it's one final image. If you're not on 12, go ahead and maximize that up to the best quality you can save it as. Hit OK. And then when you're done, you'll notice inside the Layers panel are two layers. And the reason for that is because it's still a Photoshop document. By going to File, Save As, I can save it as something else and then return back to the original Photoshop document. Now you're ready to upload it to Moodle.